It's been way too long since I made a video. My iPad, which was my primary method of recording, actually died, so that was awesome. And I'm now doing what I should have done all along, which is using my older digital camera. But yeah, recording under the worst possible circumstances. There's a thunderstorm going on right now. I need a haircut. I'm rushed. Yeah. But if I can't do it under the worst circumstances possible, then I won't get around to it at all. I apologize that the last video that I made was definitely on a depressing note. And I don't have a specific topic in mind for today's video. I had ideas along the way, but then I didn't bust out the camera and go through making this, so a lot of those ideas have fled. I guess some of the things on my mind lately have been passing privilege. I definitely have passing privilege these days, which continues to be fascinating to me. Not something I expected as early as I got it, but something I frankly didn't really expect at all. Passing privilege should not be the goal. It should not have to be the goal. You are who you are, and you knowing who you are matters more than other people's perception of who you are. However, it is a reality of the current world that we live in that passing privilege does buy you a level of protection. There are people for whom it is crucial in their living and working situation to not be clocked as transgender. And for anyone watching this who doesn't know what passing privilege is, that is the ability for a transgender person to be perceived as the gender that they are attempting to present as, and that they know that they are, to people, so that they don't know that the person is transgender. I have encountered a number of people who told me they would not have known that I was trans unless I told them. I seem to have passing privilege. I have time and again now encountered people who didn't know that I was trans. But the reason I find out that they don't know that I was trans is because I am not in the closet. I am in a position in my work and in my home life where I am secure enough, and I know that I have people around me that are supportive and protective enough that I don't have to be. And that is a rare situation. That is a very lucky situation. And therefore I take advantage of that to not be in the closet. I will admit, I like that little moment where I tell somebody that they're trans and they're like, oh, I wouldn't have known. There's something that feels rewarding about passing. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's flawed, because as I said, passing shouldn't have to be the goal. But at the same time, it's undeniable that there's this moment of, yes, they know that I am who I know I am. They see me as the person that I know I am, and they don't see me as anything else. So there's that. But, also I sometimes hope that some of the people that might have that take on it might be people that have never encountered somebody trans before, or have heard of transgender people and thought, those people must be weird. Or maybe they just haven't thought about trans people at all. And I hope that meeting me and seeing me as somebody who's normal and everyday and ordinary, and talking about other everyday ordinary things, and just happens to also be trans, might do something to their perception. Might make them think, maybe trans people are normal after all. I hope that is something that I can do for some people out there. Whether or not I'm succeeding at that, I don't know. I will probably never know. as somebody who is transgender and fairly certain that I am transmasculine, and I like to present as masculine, and I would like to be taken for a man, and that's the end of the story. Or for somebody who is a trans woman who feels that they are a woman and they would like to be seen as a woman, and that's it at the end of the day. That is, passing privilege is definitely a rewarding thing. For somebody who is non-binary, who is androgynous, passing privilege is not necessarily something that can happen in the same way, because we are always looking in society for, is that person male or female, is that person male or female. That's something that a lot of human beings are hardwired to do. And encountering somebody that presents as neither A nor B, something somewhere in between, or maybe something else altogether that doesn't fall in between those but is just C. Obviously, there is no way, if you are outside of that spectrum, to pass as outside of that spectrum, because that is not, non-binary androgyny is not something we are hardwired to look for. A lot of times when people see somebody androgynous, they immediately start going, well, do they have these features, do they have these features, do they have these qualities? Which category do I put them in, A or B? And that C box is just not something that they're looking for. Obviously, for people who are in the LGBTQ spectrum, that may not be true, but for the majority populace, that is true. And so passing privilege is not necessarily something that a non-binary person is ever going to achieve or is aiming to achieve. I am sure for some non-binary people there is a relief in people not being able to tell, because that's exactly how it is that they are neither A nor B. But for people like that, it can be awkward to talk about passing privilege. And that is part of why passing privilege shouldn't have to be a goal. Why they should be able to be non-binary and be comfortable in that identity and not have it be an issue. Unfortunately, that is not where we are in society today. And if you haven't thought about it before, maybe think about that maybe that should be a goal in society. That we shouldn't be always trying to put each other in boxes, to mark those boxes of A or B. I don't know how we will get there. I think it would probably be a long way off, because as I said, there is something that's kind of hardwired about humanity to look for the gender binary, and it takes a very long time to reprogram that. But society is why we are hardwired that way. Our cultural expectations, how we are raised, is why there is that hardwiring. So it could change. It could be changed. It would take a lot of teaching generations differently to change it. But it's something that is conceivable. Yeah, I'm not out to change the world, but it's nice to think that the world could be changed. That is a vague hope somewhere down the road, probably outside of my lifetime. But, I am seeing different perceptions of gender and different ideas around gender in the generation that's after me. And that gives me hope that younger people, and I'm 40, I'm not as young as I look, I'm the end of Gen X culturally. Seeing the younger generations just, from an early age taking gender as, oh, this is a spectrum, this doesn't have to be a binary. I'm seeing that a lot. Maybe that's because I spend too much time on the internet, and that is something that you see on the internet. But I see that out there a lot. Not always when I'm going looking for it. Not always in trans spaces, just around. So that is a cultural shift that could conceivably happen. Anyways, I was talking about that partly because it loosely could be related to the song that I've picked to sing today. It is not one that I have practiced in voice lessons, but I have been practicing on my own, and I actually picked this song for the sake of my wife. We met regarding a certain fandom way back in the when we were teenagers. But it is also a song about somebody who is having to live in the closet and yearning to not have to live in a closet, yearning to be able to be in public and be themselves and be safe and comfortable with that. That sounds to somebody who is not on the LGBTQIA spectrum like something ordinary. And it is something ordinary. But it's not something ordinary for a lot of LGBTQIA people. So I was hoping that, some people might identify with the song a little bit. But as I said, it's also for my wife, who doesn't know that I've been practicing it and will not see it until she sees this video. I have no idea if the thunder is registering on the camera's microphone or not, but hopefully that won't interrupt the performance. And, yeah, here goes. Safe behind these windows and these parapets of stone, gazing at the people down below me. All my life I watch them as I hide up here alone, hungry for the histories they show me. All my life I've memorized their faces, knowing them as they will never know me. All my life I wonder how it feels to pass a day not above them, but part of them. And out there, living in the sun, give me one day out there. All I ask is one to hold forever out there, where they all live unaware. What I'd give, what I'd dare, just to live one day out there, out there among the millers and the weavers and their wives. Through the roofs and gables I can see them. Every day they shout and scold and go about their lives, heedless of the gift it is to be them. If I was in their skin, I'd treasure every instant out there, strolling by the Seine, taste a morning out there, like ordinary men who freely walk about there. Just one day, and then I swear I'll be content with my share. Won't resent, won't despair, old and bent, I won't care. I'll have spent one day out there. Little shaky on the high notes still. But, yeah. I feel like I'm improving with voice lessons. I'm still not stellar, but I'm better than I was. Yeah. Breath control is a little better. Enunciation is a little better. Anyways, that song's for you, Bridgie. I love you. And, yeah. Sending this video out to the internet. Until next time.